What's up, guys? Today I'm going to talk about the program that helped me hit a 600-pound deadlift, win my weight class at Christian Guzman's Summer Shredding Championship, and so much more. That's right, this is the Wormanator's free power building program. Now, if you're new to lifting or you're just looking for a new program to help gain size and strength, this one's going to be really good for you. I've been running it for over a decade, and let's just say I'm pretty happy with the results. Can't promise it's going to help with the ladies, but let me tell you, I've got a lot of dudes in my DMs. Wait. Alright, so what is power building? Essentially, you're trying to combine a bodybuilding training style, which focuses on gaining muscle mass while retaining a relatively lean physique, with powerlifting that focuses on squat, bench, and deadlift. And so a power building program will still use those three main lifts as its pillars while using a bodybuilding training style to further develop the surrounding muscle groups. Essentially, like I said, you're trying to gain size and overall strength. Now, my program is based off of a simple pull, push, legs routine. That means you can split it up into a 6 days on, 1 day off split. That's what I'll talk about. You might like to do 3 days on and 1 day off, where the program will then span 8 days. Or you could even do something where you do 1 on, 1 off, and it's just your program, 3 days training, maybe a fourth supplemental for just a 1 week training split. So again, customizable based off of your needs. That's why I like it. For those athletes who are really trying to excel, you want to be hitting your muscle groups about 1.5, 2 times a week. And so that's where you're going to be doing this more frequent split that I'll be focusing on. Now, I know what you're thinking. If I do this, I'm going to overtrain. Well, you combat that by having a light day and a heavy day. On the heavy day, you're doing 5 reps or less. I personally like to do a pyramid where I'll start at 5 reps, keep maybe 1 in the tank, go up in weight, do 3 reps, up in weight, do a double or a single, come back down, do 3 reps, come back down, do 4 or 5 reps, and then maybe at the end do a burnout where I just go lighter in weight and try to do as many as I can. Something else you can do on your heavy days is to do a 5x5. That's 5 sets of 5 repetitions 1 week. The next week, do a 5x3. Then the next week, do a 5x1. And then the 4th week, you do a recovery week where you just skip that kind of heavy training and go lighter. And that would span a full month. That's just a different training style. I've tried it before. It's still very good results. But that's just for you to do some trial and error and see what you like. Then on your lighter days, you're going above 5 reps, typically around 8. There's no magic to that number. That's just kind of a standard that's tossed around. I base it on how I feel with the weight I'm using. I just try to keep it above 5. Another thing you can do is do tempos where you're coming down over the course of 2 or 3 seconds and then exploding up. And that way you could do maybe 5, but it's just that slower, lighter movement. You're getting a lot of tension, kind of getting a pump more so than focusing on pure brute strength. You could also decrease the amount of time between your sets, and that's going to require you to go lower in weight because you won't have as much recovery time between your sets. But let's kick it off here with push day number 1, and I'm going to start with my light bench day. So this is where I like to do an incline bench press as my main movement. So that's supplementing your bench press. Obviously, you're hitting the chest, you're hitting your shoulders, you're hitting your triceps. That's the muscle group that we're really going to be targeting here. Once you're done with your main movement, in my case, the incline bench press, I like to hit a little bit of shoulders. I don't like to kill them. That's why I put them on this light day. And you could do maybe a shoulder press. You could do raises on a cable just to get some different engagement. You could also do some flies with a dumbbell or a machine, whatever you have access to. And then I finish it off with high reps on a tricep isolation movement. Next up is leg day number 1, which is squat day, or you can also think of it as quad day. Essentially, whether it's a light day, heavy day, tempo day, whatever it is, the bulk of your workout is going to be doing barbell back squats. Now, say you've been hitting that hard for a few weeks, you want to take some load off your body. Maybe you do front squats, maybe you use a safety squat bar and you just change it up that way. That's fine. But generally speaking, we're talking about maybe 75% of your workout being barbell back squats. Then after that, what I like to do is some kind of single leg movement. I personally prefer walking lunges with a barbell on my back. That's a little bit difficult to do at some gyms, so maybe you use dumbbells. Maybe you just walk with your body weight and do lunges. The main thing here is doing that single leg movement because that's going to help with your knee stability. You can even do something like a single leg press. Just whatever it is, I like to do at least one single leg movement. Then obviously there are all sorts of squats you could do as accessory movements. You could do Bulgarian split squats. You could do goblet squats. You can do hack squats. You can then go on a leg press. There are just so many different machines. The great thing about this program is you customize it based on what you have access to. So after your squats being the main thing, after your single leg movement, just kind of find what you have. Maybe even do some leg extensions. I don't personally like those because they hurt my knees a little bit, but you get the idea. Next is pull day number 1, and I would suggest making this your heavy pull day, essentially a back and bicep day. And with this, I like to focus on a row and a pull down. So a lot of people love doing T-bar rows. I don't care for them too much because they bother my low back a little bit after squatting and deadlifting throughout the week. So what I personally like to do is get on a row machine. A lot of gyms have cables you can use. They have the machines where you're just rowing. You can grab a dumbbell, do single arm. But the goal here is to find at least one heavy row and then also one heavy pull down, whether that's a cable machine pulling down. You can find the machines where just it's a lat pull down, something to engage the lats in a different angle. Now, once I've done my heavy row and my heavy pull down, I like to do something for the traps. Typically, I'll do a face pull or something from the floor that's kind of like a modified face pull shoulder raise. Just getting that pressure through the trap. A lot of people like shrugs. I got away from them a little bit because they bother my back, just like I said, doing squats and deadlifts in the same week. But if that doesn't bother you, that's a great movement, whether with a barbell, dumbbells, either way. After that, I focus on a little bit of core. I'll do weighted crunches with a machine or just, on the floor. I'll do some obliques. Again, you could do that with machine or you could just do that on the floor, doing like penguins on the side if you ever tried those, with a medicine ball, whatever you have access to. Then I'll wrap it up with some biceps. And since this is our heavier back day, I like to start with a double arm movement, whether it's with an easy bar, straight barbell, maybe a machine, but just go kind of heavy, maybe 5 reps where I'm really exerting myself on the biceps. And then after that, I'll go a little bit lighter on a single arm movement, whether that's dumbbells, so many different curl variations you could do, whether it's machine, whether it's a cable. Just find what you like depending on what you have access to and wrap up that workout from there. Now it's time for push day number 2, which is your heavy bench day. And this is where I've really, really like to kill myself on the volume. And if I'm feeling good, I love to just go like 8, 9, 10 working sets and just absolutely obliterate my chest on the bench press. And then from there, after I do all those heavy sets, I'll still come down and I'll do maybe a burnout at 225 or 245, whatever it is, do a set of like 10, 12, something like that, just to really, really kill myself right at the end. And that is fantastic. And then from there, since we already did shoulders on the other day, I don't personally like to do them twice in the same week because that's how I've injured them in the past. So really from here, if you have a very, very good day on bench, if you're there for 45, 50 minutes just on the flat bench, maybe you just do a couple tricep isolation and move on. Now, a little caveat there. Let's just say that you're having some shoulder issues, which happens a lot when you're hammering your chest with these barbell exercises. Just a lot of lifters I know deal with this. You address it as it comes about. It usually stems from some kind of shoulder instability. So maybe you need to do more rear delt work. Maybe you just need to warm up your shoulders before you hop on the bench press. But whether it's incline or flat, let's just say you're dealing with some problems, you could always hop over onto the dumbbells and just really avoid the barbell exercises for a few weeks until you're starting to feel a little bit better. If that doesn't help, maybe you just avoid pushing movements and you really focus on flies. You just try to do something to engage the chest and limit that strain on your shoulder. Typically, dumbbell work will do that. But again, trial and error. I just wanted to toss that in there. Next is leg day number 2, which is going to be our deadlift day. And with deadlifts, it's going to be similar to your first leg day, which was squats, except now we're going to focus on the posterior chain, being your hamstring, your glutes, your spinal erectors, all of those. And so you kind of just do the same programming you were doing with squats, except now you're doing them on deadlift. So I'm going for maybe 4 or 5 really hard working sets and then come back down, do kind of burnout set. Then I'll do some RDLs after if my low back is still feeling pretty good. If I feel it getting a little squirrely, I'll probably just kind of cool it and do some hamstring curls or something like that. Now, something you should do from time to time, just like with squats, is back off and not go heavy every single week. So maybe every third week, fourth week, whatever it is, have a lighter day. And you could just stick with lighter deadlifts where maybe you do like 50 or 60% of your max and just really rep it out. Or you could do something where you do RDLs as opposed to traditional deadlifts. You could do good mornings, which is just going to be a little bit harder and you can't necessarily go as heavy. It's still hitting that muscle group that you want to get engaged, but it's really saving your body some wear and tear and giving it an opportunity to recover. And our last lifting day of the week is pull day number 2, which is our light back day. And obviously you just killed yourself on deadlifts, so the main goal here is to get a lot of reps in, just kind of loosen up, and don't put a lot of extra pressure on your back. So if you like to do some kind of T-bar row or seated cable row where you're getting a lot of pressure through your low back and core, I would do that on the first heavy pull day. And here really focus on maybe some row machines or just pull-ups in general, trying to keep some pressure off of that back and just getting that movement. Again, you want to get a row, you want to get a pull down, but keeping it pretty light, getting higher reps, really just getting that good pump. I might do a little bit of core. Again, the main focus for that is on our first back day, and then also maybe a little bit of traps just to get some movement in there, but those will have obviously been worked quite a bit with your deadlifts. I'll base those kind of on how I feel, but I will always wrap it up with some kind of bicep exercise, typically lighter. I'll usually do single arm on this day where I'm using dumbbells, maybe a cable, and just really repping it out to get that good pump. Then on our last day, it's the active recovery day, basically our off day from the gym. I still like to do something if I can. Maybe I'll go on a bike ride, I'll just go for a walk outside. I'll still do all of my normal mobility routine, basically just what I do every single morning to keep loosened up, all of that good stuff. Maybe I'll do it twice throughout the day, but you just want to get a little movement, stay light, don't really exert yourself. Again, you're not really going into the gym. Your body does need to recover after such a long week, but make sure that you're still focusing on the things you need to do to recover so that you can have a good week coming up next. Really, that's the program. And like I said, this can be customized in any way you want. I personally like to do the either 6 days on and 1 day off, or 3 on, 1 off, 3 on, 1 off. That way I'm making sure I train each muscle group more consistently, because if you really want to gain size and strength, you have to train them more than once per week. But if that's not your goal, maybe you just like to stay active, you like to get into the gym, you like to look, pretty decent, you don't want to be some kind of freak athlete, you just like to work out here and there, do each one of these once a week and just modify it to your needs. Other than that, make sure your nutrition is on point, make sure you're getting enough sleep, make sure you're staying hydrated, all that good stuff, and this program is really going to help you. With that, I'll talk to you guys later.